At, I mean, the definition of roles, like I asked Senator Ledama here, between the king or the monarch and the prime minister. I mean, the king has no executive role. Is it as easy as saying that the king can call the prime minister and tell him what he witnessed in Kenya? Is it as easy as that?
Indeed, every single day in the UK, the king is briefed by the prime minister.
Of government, yes.
Every single day. So, I mean, it's part and parcel of governance.
I'm asking about, can he give instructions to the prime minister legally within the UK system? I want you to do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Not in that sense. I am sure even in the course of the briefing, in the course of the engagement out of the country is not in vain. The engagement out of the country is even though it does not have direct relation with governance, I am sure he is involved in every single day's running of the government of the UK, and any bilaterals then that are signed, I am sure he's briefed of. And at the same time, if he declines on a particular support, I am very certain that it won't happen. So it is a very necessary pillar for any engagement outside the country in the UK, and is respected as such in the UK. It cannot have been in vain, and I think that we should see it in that view. But I also want to take over from where Senator Lekina said on atrocities that were committed in this country. There are many things that have happened that we will not forget. Dedan Kimathe's body, to date, no one knows where it was buried. Those are some of the artifacts and videos in black and white that the country has continued to request. You know, the body of course, and also what happened to Koech Samoe, and many other. I mean, there's just so much documented history. And because these are the people who colonize us, there is so much that has happened in between. But look at other countries in the Commonwealth that were equally colonized by the UK, and what has happened? Has there been compensation, for instance? Has there been talk of, you know, of getting an apology? So we look at it from that dimension. Let us also, at the same time, look at the benefits that these countries have continued to get. Like Mheshimiwa Lekina was saying, in fact, if they had stayed longer, maybe we'll have had a better city, well-planned Nairobi. They're coming back again years after, 60 years after, to do for us a railway, a city railway that is going to support the infrastructure and transport within the city. As we are talking now, my committee is involved in looking at serious atrocities that have been committed to the people of Samburu and Laikipia, and the county governments of Laikipia and Samburu have petitioned the UK government over the British Army training unit officers in Lanet, that is Batuk, rather in Nyanyuki. And even environmental degradation, you know, Lekina is an environmentalist. He's very passionate about conservation of environment, only to the extent that it touches on the Kipsigis. Beyond that, he keeps...
Come on. No. That is not fair. That is absolutely not fair.
So let me say this. So there has been a lot that has been happening. And we shouldn't look at it only pre-independence. There are so many other atrocities that are happening, even with the soldiers, the British Army soldiers in Kenya currently. So like I told you, we are opening an inquiry shortly. It was in the paper, and we shall be looking at those atrocities, and we will deal with them. We will come up with a report. It has nothing to do with Prince Charles, but as a committee, I think we have the will, we have the wherewithal to make sure that we can come up with a very good proposal on how to settle such disputes. The British Army, I just noticed that King Charles actually will be traveling to Mtongwe to look at the Mtongwe naval phase. We have the Royal Naval officers training our own officers. Those are some of the gains that this country are tapping from the UK.
Right.
And I think those are some of the important areas as well that we should focus on. So largely, this trip, a mixed reaction from different people, depending on how you look at it, but that does not in any way cloud our past that they colonized us, our past that we still live with the wounds, and the past that we still feel like we should be compensated, and a past that we feel like there should be an apology from the UK.
There has been that very never-ending question about the remains of Dedan Kimathi. There's the conversation that we just mentioned there about Kotalel, Arap Samoei. Is there any action that has been taken to, because, I mean, leaders, including senior ones, speak at different events and say, we want to know where he was buried. Has there been a deliberate attempt to really find out, especially to those that were in charge of governance in Kenya?
In diplomacy, you don't scream. You do it very quietly. Sometimes you negotiate, sometimes you talk about it. I don't understand why the UK still holds, even to mention where the bodies are, or even hold some artifacts that belong to the people of this country. That's our history. For as painful as they might be, I think it is important for them to release some of those artifacts and even let the country know if indeed Dedan Kimathi was buried in Kenya or elsewhere. The family. That's
what I'm asking. Has there been an express request? Because you said diplomacy.
I am aware of quiet diplomacy that has been ongoing to make sure that some of the things are released.
Formally?
Formally, yes.
And what has been the response?
I don't know the response.
Let me just add in a little bit of what